Man, oh man, you just can't make this up. NBA Youngboy and Larry Hoover just got a presidential pardon and freed? Oh, we got to talk about this one, y'all. I'm going to allow YouTube to send the notifications out. Double tap your screen to like the video. We got breaking news, y'all. Larry Hoover. We talking about the founder of the Gangster Disciples. An NBA Youngboy just got a presidential pardon and freed. They are now released back in the streets. Now, I got a hot take on this one. In case you don't know who I am, my name is Nubreed. Welcome to Nubreed Global Truth. I am your host, founder of the Image Reclamation Movement, and you all who want to reclaim our image are the co-founders. Hashtag not for sale. Now, we got to get into the nitty gritty with this one, man. Prepare to be edified. Now, first and foremost, let's go to the news. It is official, breaking news. Larry Hoover is now free. And I got some things to say about this. I really do.
We begin with breaking news. President Donald Trump has commuted the federal sentence of Larry Hoover, founder of the Chicago street gang, the Gangster Disciples. Hoover has been serving multiple life sentences and in a maximum security prison in Colorado for the murder of a 19-year-old neighborhood drug dealer. He is also serving a 200-year sentence in Illinois, but it's not clear if he'll be moved back to Illinois to reserve what remains of that sentence. Hoover's son, Larry Hoover Jr., posted this photo on Instagram, a White House official holding the commutation with the president's signature. Much more on this breaking news story coming up.
Now listen, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about Larry Hoover here. Now, in case you all wonder why Larry Hoover had so many years, why he was in there for consecutive life sentences, let me just give you the rundown, right? Because, you know, they have a habit of just freeing certain individuals into our community. And, you know, this is who they believe represent us. They believe that criminals represent us as leadership. And look, let me go here. So Larry Hoover, man, I'm just a little bit shocked about this, but Larry Hoover got a murder conviction in 1973. Hoover was convicted for ordering the murder of a 19-year-old named Pookie. Pookie Young is what they called him. He was just a neighborhood drug dealer in Chicago. Hoover believed Young had stolen narcotics and money from the gang. He was sentenced to 150 to 200 years in Illinois State Prison for this crime. I mean, Larry Hoover was guilty. He was guilty of killing another brother, accused of stealing. 1997, federal convictions. While serving his state sentence, Hoover was found to be running the Gangster Disciple criminal operation from prison. In 1997, after a 17-year federal investigation, he was convicted on federal charges including conspiracy, extortion, money laundering, drug trafficking, and he continued to engage in criminal enterprise from behind bars, ladies and gentlemen. Hoover served his federal sentence at the ADX Florence Supermax prison in Colorado until May 2025. President Trump commuted his federal sentence, but Hoover still faces the remainder of his state sentence from the 1973 murder until today. Now, Ladies and gentlemen, what does this say to the black community? It says that they're going to free criminals, right? They're going to free people who unalive other black people. Meanwhile, check this out. Mumia Abu Jamal is still in jail. Yeah, we talking about the former Black Panther and journalist who was sentenced to death in 1982 for the murder of a Philadelphia police officer. And what? And that was in 81. But everybody believes that he's innocent and that he was targeted for his journalism. Why his case ain't been put back on the table? His case drawn international attention due to his concerns, due to many concerns of our community, of an unfair trial. And we believed it to be political targeting. If Trump want to show us that he really down for the people, then free the political prisoners who was just speaking up for our people. Not straight up gangbangers and murderers. I mean, this is insane, y'all. That's right. Hey, listen, people don't want Jesus, they want Barbarous. Or listen, how about Kevin Rashad Johnson, co-founder of the intercommunal Black Panther Party? He was also a writer, serving a life sentence for a 1990 murder conviction, which he asserts he was wrongfully accused. His current status, he's incarcerated right now in Ohio. He's known for his writings on prison condition and racial justice. Why he ain't free? Why Thomas Gaither ain't free? He ran a Baltimore chapter of the Black Panthers. In prison since 1970. How about Joy Powell, a pastor and an activist? He was convicted. I'm pissed off about this, bro. He was convinced in 2006 for burglary and assault, later convicted of murder, which support claims was potentially politically motivated. He's serving life. He maintained his innocence the entire time. He alleges that it's political targeting. I mean, what about Muhammad Burton, former Black Panther member, convicted for allegedly being involved in a bank robbery? He's still incarcerated. He claims it was politically motivated. He claims his innocence. Why can't we go look at these cases? Larry Hoover, let's talk about NBA Youngboy, right? First of all, let's talk about NBA Youngboy. Now, y'all heard some of the political prisoners that I listed, right? I mean, there's more. You got Leonard Pelter, member of the American Indian Movement, convicted in 1977. He's serving 2 consecutive life sentences right now. He was denied parole multiple times, despite the man got health issues. Why Trump ain't free that man? Kevin Rashad Johnson. I mean, Joy Powell, Fred Muhammad Burton, Veronza Bowers. What about these names? But he gonna free NBA Youngboy. Exactly. Salute to Broken Matrix. He gonna free NBA Youngboy, who only talks about killing other black men, promoting the youth to kill and slide on the ops and throw their life away. A man who promote drug dealing, whoredom, murder, anarchy, chaos. He gonna free NBA Youngboy though. And that's why I'm telling you, man, we got to reclaim our image, because these people really believe they represent us. Let's talk about what was NBA Youngboy incarcerated for. Because he was incarcerated many, many times. Let me give y'all the demo on NBA Youngboy real quick. Let me give y'all the demo on NBA Youngboy. NBA Youngboy, whose real name is Contrail Deshawn, faced multiple legal charges in recent years. In December 2024, he was sentenced to 23 months in federal prison for possessing firearms as a convicted felon stemming from a 2020 incident in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Now what leering circumstances warrant him getting a presidential pardon? Absolutely real 80s OG. They're going to use him just like Meek Mills. And the whole initiative is prison reform. Listen, NBA Youngboy is about to be the face of prison reform, just like Meek Mill was. It says, look, he pleaded guilty. This is the funny part. You got all these political prisoners who are maintaining their innocence the whole time they're incarcerated. And you got NBA Youngboy who pled guilty of multiple counts, including identity fraud, forgery. He was fined $25K. His legal issues led to his incarceration and subsequent house arrest in Utah. However, in May 2025, former President Trump granted him a full presidential pardon, allowing him to resume his music career. For why, though? So he can lead more black men to hell. So he can lead more black men to the system. Because guess what? He's worth more free, because with Youngboy free, rapping about killing, shooting, murdering, and promoting the gangster lifestyle, with him free, he fills more positions in the prison. He's useful. See, it's about time you understand how white supremacy really works. This is how white supremacy really works. That's right. Broken Matrix, you got that right. It's idolatry. And we'll sit up here and I'm talking about as a whole, our people will start really praising Trump for freeing these criminals. Now, look, I'm going to say this because I'm a balanced person. And I'm a brother who made mistakes in my youth. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to act like I'm holier than thou and never been through nothing out here in the world and had my little issues and my run-ins with the law and whatever the case is. I'm not even trying to act like I'm perfect. I tell people all the time I got a history. Doesn't matter. I learned from it. It is what it is. That's part of the reason why I feel so strongly about this, because I understand the influence and impact that these rappers have on the youth. And I'm not one of those people who like to see people behind bars, especially if that person is repentant. That person has turned their life around. That person gave themselves to the Most High. You know, although they may have to finish the judgment that was given, you know, nobody wants to see anybody rotting behind bars for the most part, unless they done some stuff that's just way out of line, out of pocket. It's a major violation. But if we had a choice to do some presidential pardons, why on hell would the black community want gangsters out there? I don't think people understand Larry Hoover. Let's go here for a second. Let me pull up something for y'all. Let me show y'all something real quick. Yo, this is amazing, man. How they do our people. I mean, it's amazing. And they want the YGs to look up to these people. They want you to think that you can live a life of crime, that you can spend your entire life doing wrong and gangbanging, and somehow, you know what I'm saying, you're going to be released to the streets one day. You're gonna think you one of these people. Teach him things, or you're gonna think you one of these people who can do all these felonious capers and somehow you're gonna live happily ever after serving some time. No. Donald Trump is way out of pocket, y'all. Way out of pocket. Like, peep this, man. This is just a little rundown on who Larry Hoover is. compared to some of these names that I gave y'all earlier. Real political prisoners, real freedom fighters. A lot of the political prisoners right now, they were simply journalists back in the day. They were simply exposing white supremacy. They were actual communal, they were actually offering services within the community. The people I'm talking about was actually setting up food drives and food banks, setting up street lights for intersections. They were authors and journalists. They doing consecutive life sentences, maintaining their innocence, while these gangsters who are guilty of murder. Our president said, you know what, let them back in the black community. Hey, them niggas can't say I ain't done nothing for them. That's why Broken Matrix says if they really cared, York Jr. would be free, and those like them Harriet Tubman would aspire for the United States Army, and they made her a saint. That's a fact. A lot of people don't know that. That's a fact. And listen, and speaking of the gang, speaking of the Gangster Disciples, in case y'all don't know, these gangs are actually ran by Masons. All you gotta do is look at the symbology. It's all Masonic. That's why he don't mind letting the blood and the Crip out, because I think NBA Youngboy a blood. He don't mind letting them out because guess what? They already connected to the Masons. There's documentaries on how they're connected to the Masons. All you got to do is look at the codes, look at the symbols. Of course they're going to free these people. Listen, I'm telling you, they don't represent us. We not for sale. This ain't our image. And why wasn't we able to delineate? Why wasn't our world, our leaders in our communities, our leaders who have grassroots movements, why wasn't we able to vote on who was freed when he give these pardons out? Why didn't he sit down with certain leadership to figure out who we should pardon and let us give a list of names? Who's making these names of people that they're pardoning? Let's go, man.
Show him what's right and wrong. This made him look for guidance from others, and he turned to them.
Let's fast forward.
African American people. But as they got stronger, they also started doing bad things like selling drugs and hurting people. The Gangster Disciple Nation.
You see that symbol right there? The Gangster Disciple Nation? Damn 6-pointed star? All Masonic. All Masonic.
And abbreviated as the GDs, formerly GDN, also known as Growth and Development, is an African-American street and...
Ain't no Gangster Disciples giving no growth and development. Why you think Nipsey's former manager is up in a prison right now? Not because he was growing the community and doing right. I ain't trying to hear none of that, because I used to bang GD when I lived in Baltimore. I ain't trying to hear none of that. It ain't about no growth and development. It's about money. It's about power. It's about connections. Because believe it or not, gangs be connected with a lot of people, including those of the lodge. I'm not trying to hear none of that. I denounced that lifestyle a long time ago. That's right, real 80s. They keep pushing this image for capital gain. Says, I hope them brothers come with something positive. I hope so too. I hope they come out speaking a whole nother way. But at the same time, you know, this is not personally against those brothers. This is about the fact that, you know what I'm saying, there's other political prisoners who deserve freedom. So for those watching, this is not to attack them, but we need to know what they represented.
Prison gang, which was formed in 1968 by Larry Hoover and David Barksdale. The two rival gangsters united together to form the Black Gangster Disciple Nation, BGDN.
That ain't our nation. Our nation, we the nation of Israel, the Bible speak of. 12 tribes, one nation. You see how they, listen, when they try to destroy our image, they love to slap nation on something. Rock Nation. Jay-Z ain't built no nation. It went from Rockefeller to Rock Nation. Why? Because they want to act like they nation building. They want to listen, we gotta take our image back, man. They put the word nation in front of it because they understand how powerful it is to be a nation of people with rules, tenets, and guidelines. But their rules, tenets, and guidelines in the GDs was governed by death. Straight up.
Since 1989, after a decline in leadership caused friction between the two gangs, the BGDN has divided into different factions known today as the Gangster Disciple Nation and the other being the Black Disciple Nation.
That's right. Broken Majors, you right. When NBA Youngboy first got caught, he came back wearing nail polish, painting his face, looking effeminate. Why? Because these are puppets. NBA Youngboy is a useful puppet. And they're going to have him out there leading the youth, just like Kai Connect and all these damn streamers, your Aiden Rosses and all of them. All they promote is lunacy. All they promote is foolishness. All they promote is brain rot. And when the gangster rap don't work no more, they start dressing them up like little girls. So your little boys think it's cool to grow up and be like little girls. After they done taking all the thug out of them. Like they did Meek Mill. After they done taking all the thug out of them, then they make them women. Literally buck breaking on national TV. But we got Donald Trump trying to free Larry Hoover. Not even trying to. We got Donald Trump pardoning Larry Hoover and NBA Youngboy. Nothing but gangbangers. Nothing but gangbangers. Let's go.
Back in the 1960s, when Larry was young, things were really hard for African American people.
Things are hard for us now. That ain't no excuse for him killing our community. Things are hard for us now.
They faced a lot of racism and didn't have many opportunities to succeed. Larry saw this and wanted to change it. He thought joining a gang was the only way to make a difference, even if it meant doing illegal things. The origins of the Gangster Disciples began in Englewood on the south side of Chicago, Illinois, in 1964, when 13-year-old Larry the King Hoover joined a small street gang called the Supreme Gangsters. For years, the Supreme Gangsters had an outstanding war with the Black Disciples Nation, led by David Barksdale.
Black on black crime, black on black violence. Where's the growth and development in this? Gunning each other down. What did Larry Hoover do to deserve a presidential pardon? What did he do to deserve the attention from the highest office in the world, but kill other black people? What message does this set across what message does it set across? If you kill other black people, you can get the respect from the United States president? That nigga ain't did nothing for our people. Meanwhile, you got political prisoners locked up who actually gave us social awareness. This Negro was locked up for extortion and money laundering. He was still drug trafficking from prison. The hell are we talking about? He didn't even learn his lesson when he was locked up. I'm telling you, bro. What's next? They gonna free Diddy? The whole Diddy thing is a distraction anyway. They are gonna free Diddy. That was some made for TV nonsense to keep the masses distracted. Diddy will be right back outside peeing on people.
In 1969,
and you got a lot of the tethers and stuff wanting Diddy free. And you know why? Because they want people like this, people like Diddy who are sexual deviants and weirdos and perverts. That's what they want free. The damn tethers want these type of people free. Why? Because they want them to be out here misrepresenting us. Listen, the tethers understand that anybody who is a poison in our community will destroy our community. So they want them out there. And Diddy is a damn poison to the community, a certified sellout. I wouldn't even be surprised if Diddy wasn't even in jail. Why we don't never see these niggas in jail like the celebrity dudes? Why we don't never see it? That man could have been on an island chilling as a federal informant. I don't trust nothing. Diddy a federal informant just like his daddy, giving y'all bread and circus. I don't trust none of it. All I know is we ain't for sale. And this right here, we not buying it. We're not appreciative of you letting these guys out.
Hoover and Barksdale agreed to a ceasefire. This resulted in the creation of the Black Gangster Disciple Nation. By the early 1970s, the BGDN dominated the Chicago gang scene. Barksdale died of kidney failure in 1974 at the age of 27. Following his—
That's right. Ye said Diddy was a Fed too. I remember that. I don't think he lying.
His death, Hoover assumed full control of the Black Gangster Disciples. In 1978, the BGDN began to splinter into 3 distinct factions: Black Gangsters, Black Disciples, and Gangster Disciples.
Now you see this right here? All them murders and deaths you see in Chicago right now. The war in Chirac, all that drilling, mobbing. Matter of fact, we can go ahead and say Lil Durk is a product of Larry Hoover. Lil Durk is a product of Larry Hoover. All of these young jits out here, all of these YNs out here, getting in trouble. All of these young brothers get murked on Facebook Live, murked on Instagram Live, murked, you know what I'm saying? They all took from what culture? Larry Hoover. You see, you got 2 different kind of races. You got racists like Arnold Schwarzenegger, who pushed to make sure that Tukey Williams got the electric chair. Who wants to see, who don't care. He going to look, you got that kind of racist, and then you got more intelligent racists like Donald Trump, who like, no, we can use him. No, let him out. No, you don't exterminate him. No, I know you want to see him cook. No, we're not done with him yet. We let him out back in the streets. These youngins think it's possible for them to be notorious gangsters and one day be freed. If you follow the lifestyle of Larry Hoover, your ass is going to rot in jail, or you're not going to make it to jail because you're going to be 6 feet under. You're going to die in the streets trying to live like Larry Hoover. Best to enjoy your life. Don't be out here like them damn thugs and devils. Don't be on demon time out here, because in prison there ain't no women. The food is trash, and you got somebody telling you what to do 24/7. You're not even a man in there. And you laid up in that cell, hearing grown ass men screaming at night. You sit up there and be watching grown men come in, grown men, and 2 months later, they turn into females. Other men grabbing other men's back pocket. And you smelling nothing but dried up piss and must. You're around a bunch of musty ass men the rest of your life. That's what's going to happen. Following Larry Hoover, that's how it's going to end up, if you even make it there. It's a miracle some of us brothers survive what we survive. And if we could turn it all back, we would have never went through none of that. There's a lot of OGs right now that's trying to tell y'all you don't want to be like no damn Larry Hoover. You don't want to be like NBA Youngboy. NBA Youngboy walking around here sassy. NBA Youngboy walking around here with purses and man bags, looking like a shell of his old self. Having midlife crisis as a young man. Having to stay medicated all the damn time. That ain't no life. That ain't our image. Man, listen, man, let's go.
Disciples. However, Hoover, at the time incarcerated on M charges, prevented it by quickly setting up an alliance of all street and prison gangs in his interest into one family. The alliance consisted of Gangster Disciples, Black Disciples, Satan Disciples, Latin Disciples, Spanish.
So hold on, he has Satan Disciples in his alliance. That tell you what they represent, Satan.
Prison gangs in his interest in.
Listen, this was all his alliances. Listen.
To one family. The alliance consisted of Gangster Disciples, Black Disciples, Satan Disciples, Latin Disciples, Spanish Gangster Disciples, Ambrose, 2 Boys, 2 Sixers, 2 Six Boys, Simon City Royals, North Side Insane Popes, La Raza, Spanish Cobras, Imperial Gangsters, Harrison Gents, and the Latin Eagles. During Hoover's heyday in certain areas of Chicago, particularly in the business realm, a grim reality prevailed. Business owners were subject to extortion taxes.
And that's what they do. They extort. Imagine you can't go into a city because some gang want to run your pockets. It's argued that Larry Hoover's, the way that they extorted other people, that is argued that they took that into hip hop. Yeah, Big U, he took the playbook. Whack 100 took the playbook. That's what gangbangers do. They extort people. Why the hell did Donald Trump think it was a good idea to free an extortionist? Why? Because he sat behind bars and wrote a couple books? Trying to change the meaning of what he did? No, I'm not hearing none of that. What about all of the political prisoners who are maintaining their innocence to this day, saying that they did not do it? How about that? Matter of fact, how about these guys? How about these guys? How about these guys? You telling me none of them got a pardon? None of our political prisoners, none of our guys who was putting out truth. What about Matulu? The hell are we talking about? None of the educators, none of the guys that said, look, I'm innocent. I'm being targeted for political reasons. The details of my case have been falsified. I have proof. There's no evidence leaking me to this or leaking me to that. Only thing I'm guilty of is trying to wake my people up. What about those people? But they got us focused on Tory Lanez. And I'm not, you know what I'm saying? And I want them to free Tory Lanez because he's innocent. But I'm saying if they do pardon Tory Lanez, maybe y'all should revisit some of these political prisoners and open their cases back up. But you want to free Larry Hoover, man? Get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here. And you got black folks thinking Donald Trump for the people. Ain't none of these damn politicians for our people. They want to see us all kill each other. They want to have people like this to represent us.
A practice long associated with the Italian mafia.
Double tap y'all screen, get the likes up. Let's go. Somebody said, yeah, free Larry Hoover, though. You ain't got to say that. He already free. And it's not really personally against Larry Hoover. It's just if I'm going to compare and contrast here, What did Larry Hoover do to deserve a presidential pardon? Not a damn thing.
This tax, still prevalent today, was a significant...
See, still prevalent today. They just doing it in hip hop now. That's why so many rappers get robbed or get their lives claimed. Because of the damn gangbangers feel like that because these rappers are successful, they feel like they can have their hands in their pocket. But none of you gangbangers is going to boot up and go to war with the white man. Y'all not going to boot up and go to war with the LAPD, but a successful black man, you want to take from him and go to war with him. Gang culture is trash, but that's what they want to release back in them streets.
Revenue stream for organized crime. In parallel, in black neighborhoods, this extortion took a different form, primarily driven by drug-related activities orchestrated by black gangs. The Gangster Disciples are active in over 100 cities.
The AI said Disciples. I'm telling you, this damn AI, man. They trying to replace people's channels. And the AI said Gangster Disciples. Let's go.
Cities and 50 states, predominantly in the Midwestern and Southeastern United States, and remnants also maintain a significant presence in the U.S.
A significant
prison system. The gang had between
watch this have 20 million views.
Approximately 50,000 and 90,000 members. The gang had expanded through the north and west sides of Chicago, as well as Indianapolis, Minneapolis, Kansas City, Detroit, Milwaukee, Cincinnati, Birmingham, Hattiesburg, and co-founder Hoover's birthplace of Jackson. They first emerged in significant numbers in Memphis, Tennessee in the 1980s. The first modern street gang...
God's Property says, no, Larry Hoover is not known to be affiliated with the Black Panther Party. Larry Hoover was the leader of the Gangster Disciples, a street gang and prison gang. Right, but you know what they try to say? They'll try to say, well, the Gangster Disciples is just basically like the offseed of the Black Panthers. I think that's total nonsense. That's not proven at all. I've heard so many. Matter of fact, back in the day when I used to get down with the gangs, right, I was taught that lie, and I believed it back then. I believed that, oh, okay, you know, they used to be the Black Panthers, but now, you know, we had to turn into the Crips and the Bloods, you know what I'm saying, so we could do community work, because this is about growth and development. You know, the 6 points on the star is all tenets, and, you know, at one point in time, I thought Larry Hoover was the guy. I thought he was him. Man, I did my research. All them gangs is Masonic, bro. It did not come from the Black Panthers. It did not come from the Black Panthers. It came from the Masons. Red and blue, just like Democrat and Republican. It's the same damn thing. All of the symbology is Masonic. The 6-pointed star and the 5-pointed star. You even see the compass. You even see the compass, and it's all sorcery. All gangbanging is witchcraft. All of it is sorcery. There's a lot of warlocks who are gangbangers, and they talk about it. There's interviews of these guys talking about, oh yeah, they warlocks. Ultimately, they're just Satanists. Yeah, it's just red and blue, man. Red and blue lodge. That's all. It's the same thing, man.
To do so.
And we know the Black Panthers wasn't, the Black Panthers was grassroots. And we know that because they made COINTELPRO. Where J. Edgar Hoover had to put together COINTELPRO to get rid of the Black Panthers, infiltrate it, destroy it. Why? Because it was a grassroots movement. If Black Panthers was CIA and all that, they wouldn't have had no reason to try to invade it. Anyway, let's go.
The Gangster Disciples were implicated in the 2008 M's of member Cecil Dotson Sr., his fiancée, Marissa Williams, fellow member Hollis Seals, and his girlfriend, Shindri Robertson. Also ked were Cecil and Marissa's 4-year-old son, Samario, and Cecil's son with Erica Smith, 2-year-old Cecil Dotson II. The toddler had been spending the night with his father and siblings.
Let's go.
Severely injured in the attack again.
Let's talk about Hoover. Let's get to Hoover.
With the unraveling of Operation Headache by the Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, wiretap evidence revealed damning discussions, including Hoover's push for a formalized street tax on drug sales.
Broken Matrix says to be locked up as a POW, prisoner of war, political prisoner of war, and then get released 30 plus years after to set a jail in Riley, your whole circle away. That buck breaking 101, he's tired of it, and he wanted to touch the streets. I'm guessing he was going to say touch the streets. Outside before he died, of course, no one wants to die in prison. You're isolated from everything that you know and everything that you love. Facts. And I'm pretty sure that, Larry Hoover, at some point, I'm pretty sure that he stopped doing illegal activity and started, focusing. I'm pretty sure after all that time he spent in there, he was trying to turn things around. But see, the issue is we got so many political prisoners. We got so many righteous brothers and sisters alike that was fighting for us who are in prison right now in some questionable situations. And it's just, those cases need to be opened back up. Like somebody in here now saying free C murder. For what? Why? If there was a list, why would C murder be at the top of the list? Why? Now, that's a serious question. I like C murder's music too. I used to. But other than that, for what reason? These guys is making records from behind bars. Let me see. Somebody says, no clear you, and this dude talking doesn't know. He served his time and people who were accused with him has been out for years. Larry wasn't pushing no gang stuff. I guess no one can change. I'm not saying that he couldn't change. What I'm saying is, again, what about the political prisoners who maintain their innocence the entire time? Meaning, when they got arrested in the first place, charged, incarcerated with multiple life sentences, they are claiming innocence, and there's evidence backing up a lot of their claims. Why wasn't none of their cases revisited? Because they don't want freedom fighters and intellectual minds and people who would come back into our community after serving the belly of the beast, after being in the belly of the beast, having an influence on our people. They don't want that.
With violence as a means of enforcement if necessary, the operation's success was aided by informants within the gang's ranks, including Charles Jello Bates and Daryl D. Blount Johnson. However, their cooperation led to their demise as they were executed to eliminate loose ends.
Double tap the screen to get the lights up, y'all. This is wild, man. Yeah, Donald Trump definitely want idolatry. He gonna use the worst of the worst niggas. Like, tell me what NBA Youngboy did to deserve. The man violated his probation after years of catching felonies after felonies, but he gets a presidential pardon. You have got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. Even the guy, okay, so the guy who just defended Larry Hoover, we're going to get off Larry Hoover for a second. We're going to get off of Larry Hoover for a second. Let me do you this. Let's go to NBA Youngboy for a quick moment. let's go to NBA Youngboy.
Additionally,
matter of fact, let me do this. let me do this. Let me show you the guy who got the attention of the highest office and pardoned. Just look at this guy. what got this guy right here, right? This guy. All right, so let me show you something. All right. You got these guys. Let me try to simplify this, right? You got these guys who was fighting for black people, right? And then you got this demon right here, right? And no, I'm not just calling him a demon as an insult. No, he said he was a demon in all his music. He said he was a demon. He said he was a demon. Look at him. I'm just trying to understand. Like, I'm trying to get it. Why people don't seem to understand what I'm talking about right now. Hold on. Man, you tripping, Unc. I'm tripping. All right. Let's go here. I'm tripping. There's documentaries on this guy too. Hold on. This guy right here.
Rapper NBA Youngboy was arrested this week at his Mill Creek home in what the Cache County Sheriff's Office is calling an ongoing investigation into criminal conduct. 24-year-old, whose given name is Kentrell Golden, has been confined to house arrest since 2021, awaiting trial for a federal firearms charge. He was booked into the Cache County Jail yesterday on suspicion of unlawful activity, including identity fraud.
So let me get this right. NBA Youngboy was already on house arrest for fraud, all kind of nonsense. He decided that was his best interest to play with guns too, as a felon. That's what he thought made sense. And Donald Trump pardoned him so he can continue putting out music that's going to destroy the black community. And young black boys don't want to be like him. I mean, look, y'all. Something got to give. Let me give y'all a little more insight here. Let me give you a little more information here, right? Because do you know how many marches and rallies took place at the White House for these political prisoners? Do you know how many protests took place for these political prisoners? And like clockwork, Trump gets into office and he always releasing rappers. Yeah, he got Kodak last time. And Kodak was in there for grape. You let Kodak out. Now Kodak walking around like a Sherm head. Kodak walking around here looking like his whole entire soul gone. He ain't no good for nobody right now. So you let him out when you should have left him in. At least Kodak could have cleaned up. You should have left Kodak right where he was at so he can sober up. Yeah, he didn't pardon Lil Wayne. But there's more news on this, y'all, on this presidential pardon. Because Trump, he pardoned a few people. He pardoned a few white people, too. I guess they have some days they just pardon people. He pardoned reality TV couple convicted of bank fraud and tax crimes. Of course he did. Of course he did, y'all. Like, look at this. And look how much coverage this gets versus Larry Hoover.
We also have some more breaking news as well. I want to put this up on folks' screen. If you watch reality TV at all, you've probably heard of their names. Because
Trump is a reality TV show star. Of course he's out here freeing reality TV show people. President Trump comes for It's Savannah to inform that he will be granting full pardons to of course, because they were doing bank fraud. Same damn thing he doing. He like, look, if I can manipulate the stock market and allegedly and do all this evil and wicked, they're a good white family to free them too.
Of course, we're talking about Todd Chrisleys from Chrisleys Knows Best, as well as his wife. It's official. President.
Yeah, that's right. He freed the Rock Nation lady too. I forget her name. The Rosie Perez lady. Not Rosie Perez. What's her name? Y'all know her name.
Trump has pardoned them, Todd and Julie Chrisleys. He did it today in this conversation, a phone call that he had there with their daughter, Savannah, who's been very outspoken over the last.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree. I'm going to have to agree, Broken Matrix. He says the only people who get pardoned by white America is those who sold out the Black Panthers. Just like you have someone to sell out Malcolm X. Yeah, you got to be a sellout to get a pardon like that. And if you listen, you got to be doing their bidding no matter what. Forever indebted in the system, no matter what they do wrong. You have to be forever indebted. Let's go.
Last few years about our parents' conviction, and now it's official. President Trump deciding to pardon Todd and Julie Chrisleys. Michael, this is a very interesting thing that this is a move he decided to make. But again, what else do we know about the Chrisleys? How long they were going to be in jail? It was certainly interesting when they first got sentenced. I remember that.
Yeah, they were indicted in 2019, and obviously, President Trump was in the middle towards the end of his first term, but was still president at that point. And then in 2022, they had been.
Look at these people he pardoned. Let me see. They accuse all kind of fraud and everything.
Walk free and have these charges, and
they was proven guilty by a grand jury. Now they walking free. Look, he looked like he about ready to scam somebody else. He like, hell yeah, I'm getting back out.
Behind them.
He like, I'm getting back out here and I'm scamming. Immediately. This dude look like a scammer. He like, yo, as soon as I get home, I'm scamming. Yo, this is crazy, bro. Only in America, man. Only in America. Kim says, I wonder what white people he pardoned. These people right here, and they were reality TV show people. He looked like he do infomercial scams. He looked like he specialized in infomercial scams, bro. Hold on real quick. Look, let's go.
Obviously, massive.
Look, he smile. That man smiling ear to ear. He like, yeah, we up out of here. Let's go run our next scam.
Massive win for them. They have long felt like they thought about Savannah and how she spoke out. She said it at the RNC when she spoke, and she again really believed that they had been targeted over political reasons and that this was not a just verdict.
Over political reasons. It's like they just spitting in our face for political reasons, y'all. So these political prisoners wasn't targeted for political reasons. It wasn't racism. The LAPD, NYPD, or whoever else wasn't hiding evidence. And no, it wasn't political, even though they was trying to set our people free. It wasn't political, even though they made COINTELPRO to go against these people. And they just start all of a sudden, all of them going to jail out of nowhere. No, it wasn't political. It wasn't political. But these guys say, these reality show stars says they were targeted politically. Oh my goodness, man. I can't with America, bro. The racism.
At the RNC when she spoke, and she again really believed that they had been targeted over political reasons and that this was not a...
They claiming they were targeted because they were Republicans, allegedly.
just verdict nor a sentence. And, I don't know if that's true or not. I think the people who worked on the case would say, no, that's not the case. You committed a crime and that's why you were sentenced to what you were sentenced to. But I suppose it doesn't matter right now because it was a federal conviction and Donald Trump is president.
It was a federal conviction, man. Hold on real quick, y'all. Don't drop out. Hold on real quick. I got to do something real quick. My bad, y'all. Thanks for being patient. Let's go. Yeah, they mocking us. This is a mockery. So let me get it. These reality show stars who got charged in a grand jury, a federal conviction for scamming, jugging, finessing, fraud. They claiming political prisoners. These guys are claiming political prisoners.
And he says you're pardoned. And again, they are about to walk free.
It'll be interesting. And we'll hope that some of those cameras there with TMZ will be.
We almost got 1,000 in the room, man. Double tap the screen for the likes, yo. Let's go.
There as well. Once they're releasing and getting out of prison, if you guys are able to bring us any of that footage, we'll certainly take it. Again, with TMZ, Michael Babcock, we appreciate your time as always.
Anytime. Thank you for having me.
All right. Wanted to certainly bring that to y'all here on Live Now from Fox. In the meantime, though, if you aren't familiar with Todd and Julie Christie, want to put this back up on your screen as well. This is the official tweet that went out from the Associated Press. They're citing the Associated Press, saying that President Trump was set to pardon reality TV stars Todd and Julie.
Y'all gotta understand, Trump is just looking out for his own. He looking out for Masonic music industry puppets. He looking for gang members, aka Freemasons, and he's looking for reality show stars. Trump is a reality show star. He played in The Apprentice. He's an actor, been a billionaire since a baby. He gonna look out for his own. He like these good people. Yeah, they were in a reality show scene just like me. I'm not gonna leave them in jail. Yeah, they did scam the bank, scam the people, did this, did it. Doesn't matter. He's the president. This is our president. And I gotta admit, we can't really get mad that Joe Biden pardoned his son. I'm sorry. If my son was locked up, I had presidential power, I'm freeing my son too. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But this man getting crazy with these pardons. Corey Beckman says this is the best president in U.S. history. Well, we already know what side of history you on. Let's go.
Christie, who were convicted on fraud and tax evasion charges.
They were guilty. They was convicted.
So if you had watched their TV series, Chrisleys Knows Best, they gained fame for showcasing their lavish lifestyle and tight-knit family dynamics. The show, though, debuted back in 2014, and it built a very loyal following as well. But of course, that public image took a major turn when they were indicted back in 2019 on multiple federal charges, including tax evasion, wire fraud, and conspiracy. In 2022, though, both were convicted of orchestrating a multi-million-dollar bank fraud scheme and for submitting false documents to secure loans and avoid paying tax.
Damn, they was out here jugging. Y'all hear this? Listen to what they locked up for. Listen to them charges one more time. They were found guilty. Guilty in a grand jury, a federal charge. They were guilty. They wasn't targeted. This is what they were doing.
False documents to secure loans.
They were doing false documents to secure loans. That's bank fraud.
And for submitting false documents to secure loans and avoid paying taxes.
Yeah, they was out here cheating the system. And they got caught.
And as we just heard Michael mention there, Todd was sentenced to 12 years in prison.
Yeah, Youngboy guilty too, and so is Larry Hoover. There's political prisoners out here who are claiming innocent, and they're not even looking their direction. Yo, Big Sosa says, I can't even get a payday loan from Ace Cash Express. For real, bro. This is wild, man.
Then Julie was sentenced to 7, although we know both of those were later reduced, but now it's official. President Trump has this.
She was only serving 7 years and her time was reduced. And look, Trump said, no, they not even going to do that. Let them out. Let them people out. Let them good white Americans out. They're reality show stars. They're white Americans. Let them out.
Decided to pardon them. And again, we want to listen into that message that President Trump put out and his team put out on their social media accounts. We will listen in to what he has to say in that phone call with the Chrisleys' daughter, Savannah. Let's listen in.
That's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing, but it's a great thing because your parents are going to be free and clean, and I hope we can do it by tomorrow.
Free at last. Free at last. And thank God Almighty, Todd and Julie are free at last.
Is that okay? We'll try getting it done tomorrow. So wonderful. Give them, I don't know them, but give them my regards and wish them.
Matter of fact, have the federal government write them a personal apology letter and make sure that they get a weekend stay at the Trump Towers.
Wish them a good life.
I wish them a great life. They deserve freedom. Meanwhile, Carmelo Anthony getting charged as an adult. Meanwhile, Carmelo Anthony getting charged as an adult for an alleged crime that took place during his teenage years, 17 years old. I mean, meanwhile, they're going out the way. The father of Metcalf, the father, I forget his name, but y'all get it. The Metcalf guy. He was out here trying to stop Carmelo from getting his high school diploma, but Carmelo got his diploma, so that's what's up. They was putting all kind of red tape around trying to keep Carmelo from even graduating. But you got that going on. But these people who were found guilty in a grand jury, they get a free massage at the Trump Tower. The Trump Tower. They not even doing that much time. They get freed. A formal invite to the White House and well wishes from the U.S. president. I'm telling you, something is wrong with. Yeah, our system is broke. It's broke.
Mr. President.
Yes. How are you?
I just want to say thank you for bringing my parents back.
Yeah, well, they were given a pretty harsh treatment based on what I'm hearing. Pretty harsh treatment.
Yes, sir.
Was your brother fighting also for this release, right?
Hey, I go to the University of Alabama, and I saw you speak, and I said, that's the greatest presidential speech I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, that's good. I was just there. I gave the commencement. What a great group of people. If you were in the audience, you have to be good. What a good school it was, and I love Alabama. You know, I love Alabama.
They was at the school of reality shows. It was like a Kai Connect University thing for reality shows stars like him. Telling you, man, this is crazy.
It's that school is really, that was very impressive when I was there. Yeah, I think I did a good job. I got a lot of good comments on that one, so that's good. I love doing that with great young people.
Yeah, he got kicked out of class for defending you. It was pretty interesting.
Gee, I'm surprised because University of Alabama, if we took a vote, I'd get 90% of the vote, right?
You would. Exactly.
Maybe more, actually. But anyway, well, you keep fighting. Congratulate your parents.
Congratulations, Savannah.
And Alice had a lot to do with this. And just congratulate your parents.
Why? Let me ask you this. Why Larry Hoover ain't get this kind of call? Why didn't we get a public call to Larry Hoover or NBA Youngboy? Because you know why? That'll look tacky. That would look extremely tacky if he was on the phone with Larry Hoover like this. You know why it would look tacky? Because that Negro is a gangbanger. And he got this black woman next to him like Howard Stern. What's that lady from Howard Stern be with a Robin from Howard Stern? It's all for the optics, man. Let me see. C-No says in one breath, you saying a guy who influenced people to murder for his gang should not be free. But in the next, you want to protect a murderer just because the victim was white. What? What makes you think Carmelo Anthony is a murderer? Was he proven to be a murderer in court? You talking about a straight A student? Are you talking about the young man who had worked 2 jobs? You talking about the young man who was the head of his football team and track team? You're talking about a young man who was allegedly jumped on and defended himself in a state where stand your ground is legal. You talking about that young man? You calling him a murderer? Do you know what a murderer is, sir? Sir C-No, do you know what a murderer is? Because in the Bible, it's talking about thou shalt not murder, not thou shalt not kill. If somebody break into your home and start putting hands on you and your family, are you going to pray for them or are you going to get rid of them? Like, what is this guy talking about? I'm not saying, now listen, let me say this. I'm not saying that I wish it didn't happen another way. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that I wish that they would have just swapped it out. I'm not saying that I wish that, Carmelo would have been able to just lay hands and defend himself. But guess what? I wasn't there. I don't know what type of threat those young men caused him. I don't know what threat they proposed. I don't even know what happened, and neither do you. But I'm not going to jump up and call this young man a murderer, and I have no idea what took place because I wasn't there. All I can do is judge him by his fruits. Carmelo was a good student, a good kid with no type of history of anything of that sort. So I'm not going to jump to conclusions and call him a murderer. I'm going to hope that the young man gets to finish off his career in athletics. I'm going to hope that the young man gets a second chance at life. And I believe it's unfortunate that the little white guy, the white kid lost his life. I think that's unfortunate. Nobody wanted that to happen. Nobody wanted that to happen. So I don't know what you're talking about. Why would you call that young man a murderer and you don't even know what the hell happened? That's crazy. Anyway, let's go.
And I hear they're terrific people. This should not have happened. So, and you just
why he didn't call Larry Hoover and say, Larry Hoover, you're a terrific guy. You were invited to the Trump Tower. Locked up, extortion. You're great people. Matter of fact, you're invited to my next rally. No, I guarantee they got a whole different scenario. They just got a letter. They got a letter from the president that was typed up by AI. And that was that. They didn't get no call from the president. NBA Youngboy didn't get a call from the president. You know why? Because that looks foolish. It looks crazy. It looks crazy that you released them guys. And also responding to that troll that was in here. I'm not saying that I wanted Larry Hoover to stay in prison. That ain't what I'm saying. I'm saying out of all the people you could have chose, why did you choose Larry Hoover when you got all these political prisoners? That's all I'm saying. Larry Hoover didn't do anything to deserve a presidential pardon, and neither did NBA Youngboy.
boy, they have good children. They're no longer children, but I'll say it anyway.
All right, that was the message there from President Trump.
It sounded like they chopped it up for a couple hours. He was on the phone with them reality people for a couple hours. And she's sitting there smiling all happy and giddy when black women just got laid off jobs because of that DEI cut. She's sitting there smiling by this guy. Meanwhile, her sister's getting laid off the job. Let's go.
As he called to inform their daughter, Todd and Julie Chrisleys' daughter, Savannah, that he had officially.
Somebody said maybe Hoover can get these gangs to do better. Someone could be with him. I hope he does. I hope he does. I hope that Larry Hoover, his first press conference. I can't wait to see what Larry Hoover got to say. I can't wait. And NBA Youngboy, I don't give a damn what he got to say, honestly. I don't really care. I don't really care what NBA Youngboy got to say. NBA Youngboy ain't got enough wisdom, age, experience to teach nothing right now. He need to just fall back. He's lucky he got out. But if he can be a message to the young boys, I hope he do switch it up. I mean, me personally, I don't care what he got to say, but I hope that he can help the young boy. I'm going to take that back. NBA young boy, I hope he come out, turn a new leaf, and can help some of these young men. But I don't know about that.
Pardon them. So if you weren't aware, if you didn't hear that portion, we were just talking with TMZ on this, Savannah Chrisley did address the 2024 Republican National Convention last year as well, where she described the Department of Justice as being, quote, broken. She read out her parents' numbers that they have.
So they claiming that they were political prisoners for something they posted or tweeted or whatever the case is. Let me see if there's any updates on Larry Hoover, man. Because this is breaking, so we getting live updates right now. Larry Hoover, NBA Youngboy pardon. Everybody double tap the screen. I mean, this is crazy. What's next? What is next? Let's see. You got, man, it's look hip hop already speaking out. Jay Prince reacted to Larry Hoover being released. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Infamous Chicago gangster and GD Larry Hoover's sentence has been pardoned by Trump.
But, you know, the Creator opened the gates up and allowed him to be free. And the beautiful thing about him is he don't take his freedom for granted. You know what I mean? He free, and he ain't forgot where he came from. You know what I mean? That's my brother, Larry Hoover, spoke about that sleeping giant.
Yeah, we got Jay Prince, another extortionist. We got another extortionist.
Oh, yeah, it was kicking it on.
We got another extortionist, gang banging, so-called OG, who happy another one is out. I mean, this is, you know, this is what it is.
Yeah, the intro of the Ghetto Boys, when he said they scared of him because he know how to awaken that sleeping giant. And that was a powerful thing that was being said. And that's what we look.
Yeah, this is Jay Prince. You know, the same one who's supposed to make sure that Takeoff made it back home. Y'all remember Jay Prince? He the same one who's supposed to have protection for Takeoff when Takeoff went to Texas, went to Houston, and didn't come back home. That guy.
Looking forward, you know, to the day and his freedom, so we can awaken the sleeping giant, and so many that sleep and that won't listen to those that they don't respect. You know, I look forward to the day of being able to share that journey, share that walk, share that creativity with my brother on how to free a lot of our people out of bondage. And every politician.
How is that freeing us out of bondage? Free the political prisoners, get them out of bondage.
That's for that, we're gonna be with them too. You know what I mean? The real ones that's really for our people, then that's who's gonna get my vote. You know what I mean?
See, that's trying to get people to, the gangs and the streets to go for Trump. I'm not going for it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it is what it is. Larry Hoover is free now, and so is NBA Youngboy. Our president could have did a lot better. It is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Eventually, we're going to see what the plot is. Reclaim our image. Real ones, we are not for sale. Hashtag not for sale. Everybody, y'all be blessed out here. One love. With that being said, shalom and peace.